All right, so chapter 4, section 2, we're going to do an overview of photosynthesis, talk about how we get the energy needed to make these sugars and what we do with these sugars once they are made. So, first, you got to understand, and it's probably something you've heard of before, producer is something that can make its own sugar from energy and carbon in its environment. It does not need to eat other things in order to get its carbon or to get its energy. It can actually use sunlight to make its own sugar, or some other ambient energy and ambient carbon. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be sunlight. So you the opposite of a producer or the complement of a producer is a consumer. That's something that would have to eat the organism or eat something in order to get its energy and its carbon. So scale is important here, and it's I find students have a hard time understanding how small the sort of things we're talking about are. So a leaf is something you could see with your plain old eye, your naked eye, and you look at a leaf and you're like, great, why am I looking at this leaf? Inside of a leaf is a cell, okay, and that's a plant cell, and that plant cell is microscopic. And then inside of the microscopic cell is a chloroplast. So you have a leaf, which is visible, a leaf cell, which is microscopic, and then something that's inside of a microscopic thing is a chloroplast. So I like to call that like submicroscopic. So it's very, very small. Uh, this is a picture of a chloroplast. The green disc here, highlighted in the center, is a thylakoid. It's a thylakoid disc. A lot of the action of photosynthesis happens in the thylakoid disc, so it's good that we're pointing that out. A stack of thylakoid discs is called the grana, uh, and the fluid surrounding the stack of thylakoid discs, the grana, is called the stroma. The stroma is the fluid, the grana is the stack of thylakoids, and thylakoids is individual disc. As you can see, there's many groups of thylakoids all interconnected. Now, the nice thing about the naming here is that light dependent reaction depends on light. It tells you what it is, so it makes it harder for you to get it wrong. It happens in thylakoids. You get you need water and sunlight. The chlorophyll absorbs the energy that's there, and oxygen's released. Okay, so here we have a an actual uh, chloroplast. Okay, here you can see the thylakoid on the edge here, the disc. There's a stack called a grana. The stroma's down below, or the fluid here. You have water coming in and sunlight, right? It's coming in on the light dependent reaction. So the light dependent reaction depends on light. So that's happening. They actually will come in and the this light dependent reaction will strip away the hydrogens from the water, releasing oxygen, and then taking hydrogens plus their electrons and removing them from the structure. Now, in this process, you make some ATP, and that ATP is used in the light independent reaction, which we're going to see now. So, if the light dependent takes place on the thylakoid membrane, or the thylakoid in this case, the light independent reaction takes place in the stroma. The stroma is the fluid that surrounds everything. You need carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for it to work, and it uses chemical energy to build this sugar. So here you have carbon dioxide. There's a carbon here and two oxides, right? And then this individual carbon and these two oxygens will come together in the stroma to make a six carbon sugar, uh, which is glucose. And the process that it does requires the carbon to drop its oxygens, and that's how it releases oxygen as a waste product. And this is all in the light independent reaction. So uh, the overall equation, the overall idea photosynthesis is. That we're going to have six carbon dioxides. You know, like why six carbon dioxides? Because the six here and the C with no number here means C1. So there's six carbons here and there's six carbons here. 12 oxygens, right? Six times two oxygens is 12. Well, this is six, and then six times two is 12 right there. Here's six more oxygens. That's for this one. And then 12 hydrogens. Here's your 12 hydrogens. So it's showing you a balanced equation where you're making sugar and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water using sunlight. And that's the end of chapter 4, section 2.